What it do, all my people? You know how we get down over here on this channel. We back at it again with another method session. Now, last video we talked about the iPhone methods. In this video, we're gonna talk about bank logs. Now, it's a lot of people that ask me about bank logs. How are people getting bank logs? What's the bank log? What's the bank log method? Well, bank logs are basically self-explanatory. They're bank logs and banking login credentials, and there's a lot of different ways that people can get them, and there's a lot of different ways that people can use them. Now, the bank log method, basically, people are getting bank logs. So first of all, there are places on the dark web that you can go, you can buy different type of bank logs and different credentials. So the dark fox market has bank logs on the dark web that you can where you can buy bank logs. So this marketplace on the dark web, Dark Fox Marketplace on the dark web, has bank logs for sale. And there's a lot of different places on the dark web that sells bank logs, but this is just one place. And once the scammer out of fraudster goes on this site, and well, first of all, you don't even need to buy today's world. You don't even need to buy bank logs because with these new methods that's going on, it makes it easier for the scammer to be able to not even need the bank logs to get money off the bank account. So what they doing it to today's game is they have this method where they're utilizing OTP bots. They're utilizing spoofing bots, and these bots are basically used to trick or change the caller ID in the number on when you call. So let's say I was to download one of these bots. Now there's different bots on the clear net that you can actually use and get to that people use before this method. So they got spoof bot, they got the Tupper box, and they got Dark Tower. Now these are a couple of sites on the ClearNet that because this site this spoof calling was basically designed for like tricks and things like that, for like pranks and things like that. And once people figure out different ways and different methods, they utilize different loopholes. So spoof box, Tupper box, Tupper box, and Dark Tower on the ClearNet. Now this is on the ClearNet. This is not on the dark web. Like you could easily Google these sites and it'll pop up and you'll see. But people are using these prank sites, these prank spoof sites, to basically commit fraud and scams. Now the thing is, banks only cover fraudulent activity. Banks don't cover scams. So once somebody gives a scammer their one-time password, which is an OTP, that person or the bank is no longer responsible for what goes on after that. So if a scammer or a fraudster, whatever they do after that is not their responsibility. So they get these bots, they go easily Google and search a Wells Fargo, a Chase Bank, or any bank's fraud department's number. So what they do is they utilize that number and they change the information. So now when they call this person, it's gonna seem as this bank's fraud department is calling. Now, what people are doing on the dark web is they're going on the dark web and they're going to these different places and they're buying different banks' databases. And there are a lot of different places on different marketplaces that sell banks database. You got the Hidden Wiki, you got the Dark Fox, you got the White House marketplace, you got the Torzon marketplace. There are a lot of sites on the dark web that sell financial services and have different databases. Because back in the day, scammers used to just get any type of information and send out random texts to anybody and hope that somebody, at least one or two, or anybody, will actually have a bank account with the bank that they're portraying to be. But now scammers have gotten a little bit more smart and a little bit more sophisticated, and the hackers are saying, okay, let me just start. Let's get certain banks' databases to make it easier for us to be able to make more money faster. Because now people don't gotta hope and wish that this person has a bank with the bank that they're trying to be, and now they actually know that this person does have a bank account with that bank. So now it's making it easier. So it's just the evolution of the dark world and the dark web and the world in general. Because when people start to pay attention to different things and different methods, they see what works and what doesn't work. And everything evolves. So over the time, people have seen what's been working for bank logs and what hasn't been working for bank logs. And now people are starting to see how gullible and how easy people are to manipulate or trick or social engineer. So now they're using these methods and they're thinking a little bit more smarter because, like I said, banks only cover fraudulent activity, not scamming activity. So they buy these credentials off the dark web. So now they might got 10, 15, 20 people that got a bank with a Chase Bank or a Wells Fargo or a Bank of America, whatever bank. So now they're going to act or portray as if they're that bank. It's fraud department. And like I said, they're going to get these spoof apps they can get easily off the clear net. Dark, I gave you guys the spoof sites earlier in the site in the video, but they use these sites and then they get this information off the internet, clear net, and then they send out a text message to say, "Hey, are you trying to spend $500 at Best Buy? Hey, are you trying to wire $2,000 out of your account?" And more than likely, that person is going to text back or respond no. So then they're going to text back and respond, "A member from our fraud department will be in contact with you shortly." So they're under the impression that this is their real bank. So once the person or the scammer calls that person, it's going to pop up on the caller ID as such and such bank, fraud department or whatever. So now they're having a conversation with this person. And when I said they could buy the credentials and the information or the data from these banks off the dark web, now that information also comes with certain information that will help the scammer manipulate the victim's brain for them to think that it's real. So it's going to give them recent transactions and other things, and they're going to ask them about these things. It's going to make that the victim feel as if, okay, this has to be the real department, fraud department, because how would they know about this information that they're asking me? How would they know about my latest transaction? How would they know about me spending money last week at Walmart? Like, how would they know that? So now they're asking them these questions and they're verifying it. Like, okay, this has to be real. So now they're saying, okay, there's been a such and such um, problem on your account, so let's get that taken care of. Now, one way that they go about it is they ask the person, um, we need to tell the person, or we need to change your password and your username. So they say, what's your, and this is if they decide to go just straight text messaging, because sometimes they'll text message you. So they act like they're the fire department, and they just go through the text. And they say, okay, we need to change your password, then we need to change your username. So what was your previous what was your previous password? I mean, what was your previous username, and what is your new username that you're trying to use? So the victim would type in their username and the new username they're trying to use, and then the victim would say, "What was your previous password and your new password?" So they give them the old password and the quote unquote new password. So now they just trick this person into giving them their whole username and password to their account. So now they got this person's basically banking log and credentials that easy. And people are falling for it. Like, you'll be surprised how many people really fall for this. Like, a lot of older people actually fall for this. And then once they get that information, they're actually logging into that person's bank account. So once they log into that bank account, that bank's going to send that person a one-time password. That scammer is going to act like if they're the one sending a one-time password, and they're going to say, "Hey, we just sent you a one-time password. Can you give us that code?" They're going to give that scammer the code. Now they're able to access their bank account, and now they're able to do whatever they want to do. That's one way that people utilize to get bank logs. Now, that's a scam. That's not fraud. Remember that. Another way is, like I was telling you guys before, they call the person and they ask them certain questions over the phone, and they say, "Hey, we need to get your money out of your account. You need to take your money out of your account. This is the U.S. Treasury Department with blah 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 blah." And some people actually take out the money out of their account, go get gold bars, go get checks, not even checks, get cash. Sometimes they even wire the money out to random accounts and all different type of things. And now that person is out of money. The scammer didn't need any banking log and information or anything to get the money in their account. They tricked that person into believing all this information to take out the money out of the account, believing that they're going to put it into a safety deposit box or something like that. So when it comes to bank logs, like, a lot of people are starting to think smarter and not harder. Like, people are starting. That's why people start utilizing the OTP bots and the spoofing bots, because they're saying, A lot of people don't know how to get on the dark web. A lot of people don't know how to find real sites on the dark web. A lot of people knowledge isn't there for the dark web. So a lot of people come up with different ways how to get information and things that they want, and they start using the spoofing bots and tricking people out of their information and getting bank log information to do these different type of procedures. Now there are people on the dark web who know about certain places how to get certain logs, and there are people on the dark web that sell certain logs. Now there are places on the dark web that sell strictly bank logs, all bank logs, because there are people in the world that understand that businesses make money. The average American isn't going to have any money, but businesses, they get loans, credit cards, and lines of credit all the time. So they're going to have accounts with money in it for sure. So they find all of these business accounts with these same banks, and they work off of those. So it's just a lot going on when it comes to banking logs, how people are getting them, how people are using them. It's a lot of different methods. It's a lot of different tactics. Like I said, it's different sites on the dark web. You got a lot of, you got the White House market. Oh, you got the dark fox market, you got the mega market, you got the world market, you got the Nvidia's market, you got Vice City market, you got the Vortex market, you got the Amazon market. So many different marketplaces on the dark web that sells a different variety of banking login credentials that scammers utilize to perform certain methods to obtain some type of revenue. So that's just one of the bank log methods right there that's going on in today's world. So a lot of people becoming victims of it, and like I said, it's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware. Because if you're not hip to what's going on, you could potentially become a victim, and nobody wants to become a victim. So just make sure you guys are staying more safe, staying more cautious, and being more aware. Stop falling for these bank text, these fake bank spoofing calls and text messages. Always call your bank to make sure that this is real, because banks would never call or ask you for that type of information in the first place. But due to the severity of the perception, it puts a person in a certain mind frame, so they're not thinking correctly. So they're jumping off and they're working off impulse. So like I said, man, be more safe, be more cautious, and be more aware out there to bank a log of information, to bank a log method. And I'll see you at the next method. Peace.